In this video, I'll be going through the technical setup of getting your domain ready for cold emails, how to set up your DNS records, how to purchase a domain, and how to actually send your first cold email. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kaushik. I'm a former tech lead from Silicon Valley, and I'm currently helping small businesses use AI to improve their bottom line, whether that's get more customers, reduce their operational burden, or just bring in more revenue. Let's dive into the video. These are the 8 steps to correctly set up your new inbox to send out cold emails. So first, we're going to need to register and buy a domain. We're going to use Cloudflare for this, and we'll add our domain to our existing Google Workspace. And then we'll need to set up some DNS records, and we'll add a few aliases and also kick off the email warmup. Cool. So to start out with, I'm going to log into Cloudflare. And yeah, so my domain is godoublетime.com. But I don't want to use my main email account, right? I don't want to use the inbox that is from my main domain. I want to use a alternative domain because if for whatever reason all our messages start going to spam, then that's going to affect our domain reputation. That's going to affect how we rank on Google, etc. So we don't want to actually send cold emails from our main domain. So we're going to find a domain name that's available that's similar to godoubletime.com. So once I'm in Cloudflare, I can go to domain registration, register domains, and then I'm going to try to register get doubletime. Cool. So it looks like there's getdoubletime.com for $10 a year. Okay, and we're going to buy the domain. And we own getdoubletime.com. So step 2, we're going to add the domain to Google Workspace. So I'm going to go to admin.google.com. So I already own a Google Workspace account for my existing domain. And I'm just going to add a domain to that account. If you don't have a Google Workspace account yet, you'll have to subscribe to Google Workspace, and that's going to be a slightly different flow, but should be similar. But if you already have one, then all you do is go to your admin console, click add a domain, enter the domain name, and I'm going to do secondary domain. If you do a user alias domain, what that'll mean is you won't actually get a separate inbox. Your sending domain will still be the domain of the primary email. So this is my primary email on the account. But we actually want 2 sending domains here. The reason being, we want the email to actually go out from the new domain. So for this reason, we do need to pay for another Google Workspace subscription. If you just need a separate email alias, that means an email address at this new domain, you would select this option. But we actually want a different inbox. Okay, so I'm going to select add domain and start verification. And since we use Cloudflare, it's really easy to verify that we own this domain. We just have to sign in with Cloudflare. It's going to authorize that we own this domain. So we can see our DNS records for getdoubletime.com by clicking on websites, going to getdoubletime.com, and DNS records. So we see that verification code has been added. Now we'll need to set up the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records to prevent email spoofing. And this can only happen once our verification completes. Okay, our verification just completed, and now we can actually activate Gmail for this account. And this will set up the MX records automatically within Cloudflare. So MX records tell the domain which email service to use to actually send the emails. Okay, and you can see here, it's adding the SPF record for us automatically. So it's adding these MX records as well as this SPF record. And we're just authorizing Google to update our DNS records for us. Okay, great. So now if we refresh our DNS records page, there you go. We can see all those records were just added, and we should be able to send email from this domain directly. So to actually get an account for this email, we need to add a user. Right now, the users are only added to our primary domain. So we'll click this add users button, and we'll be prompted to add a new license. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll need to purchase a new license for a new user. So I'm going to add 1 user for this account. And there we have 1 license available. Go back here, select add users. Okay, there. Now we have a new inbox set up under the new domain. let's check out our new inbox. There we go. We have a fresh inbox. And I'm just going to send a test message. And there we go. We've got that email in our inbox. So we've tested that the email is actually working. The next thing we want to check is, so we want to click here and click show original from the email we just received. And we can see what have passed and what haven't passed. So the SPF has passed and the DKIM has passed. But we want to verify we want to add our DKIM with Google Workspace. So let's go ahead and do that next. So all you want to do is click DKIM here and click DKIM authentication within your admin console. Select your new domain and hit generate a new record. And hit generate. And it'll give you a TXT record like so. For privacy purposes, I'm going to regenerate a new record, so I'm not going to actually paste this new one in. But what you're going to do is go back to Cloudflare, add a record, select the type TXT, and it's just going to be @ for root. And you're just going to copy, or not @ for root, it's going to be this google._domain key. And you're going to include this TXT record value. And you're going to paste that here. And you would hit save. But of course, I'm going to generate a new record at this moment, just because I'm recording this. And if anyone got a hold of this key, that would mean they could actually send emails as you. So you don't want others to actually see this key. Okay, now we have all our DNS records set up. We do want to set up DMARC, and we can do that through Cloudflare, actually. So you can go through email here, hit DMARC management. And what DMARC does is we can identify and track third-party senders who send emails on your behalf. It also prevents email spoofing and email phishing. So all we're going to do is click add, and it's going to add this record to our email. So DMARC authentication can take up to 48 hours to actually activate. So at that point, we'll want to go to this site called dmarctester.com, and it'll actually give you a lot of good details about what SPF, DKIM, and DMARC actually are. All you need to do is send a test email to this email address that they provide here. So let's just go ahead and do that and see what happens. So here you're going to get a bunch of information about who's trying to send the email, where the email is coming from, etc. I'm just going to fast forward this, and you can kind of see the results at the end. Okay. So yeah, so it looks like our DKIM has failed at the moment. As I said, that could take up to 48 hours to actually start authenticating. So we'll want to wait. We'll want to wait until this actually passes before we actually send out our emails. Another important thing in sending cold emails is you'll likely have something like a link inside your cold email that is redirecting to your website. But if there's links in your email that aren't necessarily tied to the sending domain, it could be marked as spam. So if I include a random link in there, that could be hitting one of those spam detection systems. So any links we send out should be from the sending domain. Our sending domain here is the domain we just purchased, getdoubletime.com. But if I go to getdoubletime.com, obviously it's not connected to our main domain, godouble.time.com. So how do we actually get this page so that every link from getdoubletime.com actually redirects to godouble.time.com? We can actually create a rule inside Cloudflare. We'll create a page rule. You can create up to 3 page rules for free. It'll be star getdoubletime.com/star. So it'll match this pattern. So it'll be, and then we'll pick a setting for the forwarding URL, and it'll be a permanent redirect. And the destination URL will be godouble.time.com/$2. So this is taking the second match pattern. So the first match pattern is the first star, second match pattern is the second star. So everything after the slash, we're actually going to put in front here, and we're going to save and deploy this page rule. So the next step to actually completing the redirect is also adding our domain to Vercel. We were using Vercel as our web hosting service. So we're going to add getdoubletime.com. And I want the root domain to be getdoubletime.com without the www. So I'm going to do this like so. Now if we type something like getdoubletime.com/blog, it'll actually redirect to godoubletime.com/blog. So I also want to set up multiple aliases for my email account. So right now I have contact@getdoubletime.com, but I want someone to be able to also contact sales@getdoubletime.com or info@getdoubletime.com. Go to my admin console and find Gmail. Click on default routing. And this determines where different emails go to. So I'm going to add another rule. And I'll say pattern match. And if it's star@getdoubletime.com. So anything at getdoubletime.com, we'll be changing the recipient to contact@getdoubletime.com. We could also use our original email here. So we could also do contact@godoubletime.com so we can get it into our original inbox. But this is the recipient I want at the moment. And we want to perform this action only on non-recognized addresses. So if we have another user called sales@getdoubletime.com, then we don't actually want to do this replacement. But since we only have one user, we're just going to use our root one and say, just keep this select option. So I'll click save here. Looks like there's an issue. Okay, click. And we could also, like I said, without actually paying for a new email, we also get this alias, sales@getdoubletime.com. And there you go, sales@getdoubletime.com indeed does work. Okay, great. Now we actually need to warm up our email. So now that we rather warm up our domain, right? So when a domain is fresh, email services actually detect your domain as spam by default. So we need to send a few fake but real looking replies. And this process is called warming up your email. So for about 14 days, you're either going to use a service like Mails.ai or Apollo.io, and you can actually warm up your email. Once that email is warmed up, you should be good to go. And now you have a new domain set up for sending out cold emails. Now, if you want to scale your cold email service, you're going to have to purchase and repeat this process for multiple domains. So each inbox should really only send about 50 emails a day. Otherwise, that's when you can start running into deliverability issues. And you'll want to track your spam, how often you're hitting spam, how often your emails are getting opened, etc. So most companies that are doing cold emails in mass I've heard send in the order of thousands of emails a week, right? So if we want to send, let's say 2,000 emails in a week, and we can only send 50 per domain, and that's 5 days a week that we're actually sending emails Monday through Friday. That means we need to send 400 emails a day, and we'll need 8 different domains. And services like Apollo can actually rotate your email inboxes. So you're not sending from the same inbox every time, and it's like evenly distributed across all the domains you own. But that's the next step to scaling out this cold email outreach process. So yeah, it's not too difficult to set up, but this setup stage is very important so that you're actually sending out emails that are reaching people's inbox and not their spam folder. Thanks.